Let's go right now to Democratic New Jersey Senator Andy Kim. He's a member of the Senate Homeland Security Committee, previously served at both the Pentagon and the White House National Security Council. Senator, thanks so much for joining us. First of all, what's your reaction to this dramatic development of what we've seen overnight and early this morning, that the United States and Israel have jointly bombed Iran, and in particular, his statement that American lives, God forbid, could be lost?
I mean, this is an appalling action by this president. How many times do the American people need to wake up in the morning and see this president dragging us into another conflict, into another war? He literally called this a war and said that American lives could very well be lost. And to be able to do this with no justification, no congressional authorization, and most importantly, it's just very clear the American people don't want this. I held a town hall last week. I asked the participants, if you think we should be engaged in a military strike against Iran, raise your hand. Not a single hand went up. When I said, do you think the American people need to have a say in this if we were to engage in military action? Every hand went up. This is going directly against the will of the American people.
Do you have confidence in what the president said in his statement that he released overnight, that Iran has been building missiles that potentially could soon reach the U.S. homeland?
Well, right now, I have zero confidence in this president who has so flagrantly violated our Constitution. That is why we should have Congress immediately go back into session for the war powers vote to reassert the American people's will, which again, they don't want to be at war. So I'm ready to go right back to the Senate today. I think we should be having Congress immediately in session to review this. And if the administration wants to give us the information about why they think that there is some imminent attack that they have given us no information about so far, they need to make the case to the American people. But the fact that they have moved forward in this way, put American lives at risk for something that is so clearly not a limited strike. Having worked in the Situation Room before, I know what goes into planning of this magnitude. For them to do this so clearly violates every authority that they have.
Do you agree with the president, Senator, that Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terrorism?
I have no question that Iran is has terror organizations. I have worked for years to combat them. I know that they have struck and attacked American soldiers, especially in Iraq and Afghanistan in the past. But that being said, that does not justify this type of action without the coordination. When we have our service members go into harm's way, there are two conditions that I often think through. One is this the action of last resort? And that is not the case in this circumstance. We did not go through the diplomatic efforts in the way that we needed to. You know, you cannot have Wickoff and Kushner engage in diplomacy here, where when they're also in charge of diplomacy with Russia and Ukraine, as well as Israel and Palestine in the Middle East region. You know, this was not a thought through effort. And the number two condition is, are our service members going out with every resource they have and need to be successful? And when this White House has not come to Congress for any authorities when it comes to additional funds needed to be able to sustain actions of this magnitude, we are not setting up our service members for success here. And that should be the #1 priority for a commander in chief.
I know you believe, Senator, that President Trump shouldn't have attacked Iran without formal official approval from Congress under the War Powers Act. Is there any talk at all that you've heard from Senate leaders about Congress returning to take a vote on the War Powers resolution?
Well, we should have been able to do this before, and we should go back immediately to the Capitol to vote on this. I've been talking to a number of my colleagues this morning, many expressing the same sentiment. So I hope that there can be unanimity that when it comes to strikes of this magnitude, when American service members' lives are at risk, what greater responsibility do we have in Congress than to look out for our service members and the national security of our country? Should be something that we should be able to take up immediately.
Senator Andy Kim of New Jersey, thanks so much for joining us.